Life is precious. I think we would all agree. Often we find that we take the very things that we do every day in life for granted until something happens in a blink of an eye. Hello, I'm Tom Russo, and this is In a Blink of an Eye, where we discuss stories from ordinary people whose lives are changed in an instant and how they overcame through faith, courage, and determination. Join me on this podcast for uplifting stories of how people face various challenges and learn to not only survive, but thrive. In a Blink of an Eye is sponsored by TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Discover, connect, collect. That's TradingCardsMarketplace.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen, got another treat for you. I always say that. We got the lovely, and you'll recognize the last name here, Stephanie Russo, with me from the great state of Michigan. She, within the last year or two, just got married into our family up there in Michigan. So welcome to the family and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and it's such a great time to meet you and hear about your story.
Cool. This is so awesome. And folks, she has such a compelling story, and it brings a tear to your eye, and also just strengthens your faith when you listen to all the wonders that God has done for her in her life. So I'm going to throw it to you, Stephanie. Tell us a little bit about where you grew up, and kind of quickly getting us to where you're at now, so that we can start talking about your blink of the eye moments, because you've had a couple of them.
Yeah, I've been blinking a lot.
I love that. I love it.
So I grew up in Portage, Michigan, which is in Kalamazoo County. My mom grew up in an Italian-American home. I grew up in an Italian-American home too. So faith and family were core centers of who we are as people. I remember Sundays being one of my favorite days of the week. We'd go to church, to the Catholic Church, and then we'd all pack up to my Noni and Poppy's house. And my Noni and Poppy and their brother and sisters all lived on 3 streets out there in Three Rivers. So we got to see literally every
gathering, right? It was a big family gathering. I can remember going to those when I would go up to Detroit and visit my family up in Detroit. And you know, it was so different being a kid from Texas, going up there and being around all these people, because we didn't have a lot of family down here. So it was kind of cool. So I know all about that, though. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a blessing. I mean, to have that kind of support system, was important. And so I remember at the dinner table, Noni cooking and Poppy making a salata, and then the guys would always drive up to 29th Street location on occasion, and the cousins, and get all of the Russo traditional Italian pastas, because we import all those pastas straight from Italy. And it was really important to them to have authentic Italian food. And they enjoy the ambiance of it, and remembering how they grew up as first generation foreign citizens here. It was a big deal. And then I got into the media industry. So I've worked for over 20 years in the media marketing industry, helping SMB Fortune 500 companies all the way down to startups who have a dream and a vision, help get that business plan together, get that growth strategy in place to get them to the next level. And I take a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy to see somebody's vision come to life. And to see somebody's business do well and align a strategy for social impact when they're doing well, to make sure our communities and others are doing well too.
And I love that mission that you talk about, because it's so important. Because small businesses, to me, I know you talked even all the way up to Fortune 500, but to me, the backbone of this country is those small businesses. And when you can see and help those small businesses grow and become a vital part of their community, that's the beauty of what we have in America, I think.
You're absolutely right. And, even a company like ours, so we just celebrated 124 years in business. So my husband, Greg, is 5th generation CEO here. But even our company was not here for 15 years. And Greg brought the company back and added the restaurant concept to Russo's Restaurant Market here in Tanger Outlets in Byron Center, Michigan.
So right outside of Grand Rapids for all
Grand
of my
Rapids.
listeners.
It is Grand Rapids. It is Grand Rapids. But so he was literally rebuilding and transforming family business and legacy. So it is like a startup again.
And the website's russowine.com, correct?
Yep.
So,
RussoWine.com.
so for all the listeners out there, I'm going to put that email or that website right down there so that you can go and
Here.
check it out because they will ship to you. I know this
Anywhere.
firsthand
Yeah.
because my wife and I have eaten quite a bit of it, and it's awesome. It's just incredible. It's off the charts good. Stephanie even has her own signature sauce.
I
So
do the Stephanie's basil marinara. If you
and
like
that's what we
basil.
got, and it was wonderful. I think that's when I friended you on Facebook and kind of found out more about your story. But anyway, so you're got this media company, and you still do that too,
I
right? You
do.
still do
Girl
that.
Business Today. So girlbusinesstoday.com if you want to check it out.
Girlbusinesstoday.com. We got to put
Yep.
that on here too. So that is going to be down there. Check that out as well. And you also have a ministry that you work
Yes.
with. What's that?
So I've worked in the ministry. I worked with Other Way Ministries in fund development and community engagement. Other Way Ministries is located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They have one of the largest food pantries in the area.
Nice.
Um, and they also do a lot of work for our homeless community here. So our goal there is to rebuild, help transform, make sure people have the basic necessities but are connected to resources to find housing, to find employment, to work with businesses like ours, which our business does try very
And
hard.
it's those things that help you. To me, it just warms my heart that there's so many great people out there. We see on the news all the time, all the bad stories and the negative things, but there's so many good things happening in the world that God has smiled upon and obviously
Amen.
smiled upon you. And I love that. And I love your generous heart. But I want to fast forward and I want to preface this by saying something that I know is in your past that was kind of a real bummer was you
Yeah,
had an abusive relationship. You came
yeah.
out of an abusive relationship, and so I'm sure you had some scars and some not necessarily physical, but maybe emotional
Oh, well,
scars both.
truthfully, all of it. Yeah,
Right.
like I really had to really look to God and look to myself. I was trying at that time to, I had a child and make sure to set a different way for her, to understand her value and her worth and to be safe. And I being faithful person, I'm also a person that I understand we're all learning and growing and make mistakes. And transformation takes time. And
And
but in order
forgiveness is strong too, and
forgiveness
that's a tough thing sometimes. It
it
really is.
it really is.
So you
But
have
yeah.
all of these things in a package, and it's such a compelling story. So I want to jump right to some of your blink of an eye moments. We'll go back to last July. You were excited, and you're expecting, and
Yes.
something happened.
Yes. So, in July, I was Gary and I found out we were pregnant in May, and we were working at that time. I'm bringing back the West Michigan Italian Festival after a 24-year hiatus. And in July, right before the festival, we suffered the loss of our baby, and that was a really hard time. We weren't expecting or trying for a child,
But it
but
was a blessing. It
but it
was
was a
it
blessing,
was a
and
blessing,
we were really excited about it, and yeah,
as a man and my wife of 38 years, we lost two many years ago, and I know how difficult that was for us, and I can only imagine and empathize with you for that because for whatever reason God called them to be with them now, and we don't always understand here
yeah,
in the present day. So that
true.
was difficult for you, and that was in July, but
Yes,
you call yourself an Energizer Bunny, and so
yeah.
you're constantly doing
My
things,
father-in-law says, he's like, "She's my little Energizer bunny." Um,
constantly trying to get going and get things
yeah,
going, and so you're working towards this festival and getting all these things going, and uh,
And it
probably
was this,
working more hours than humans should be allowed. And
oh, at
and
least 89. I'm still working in the ministry at this time for other way ministries. So
you're
during
doing
the day,
the
I would work there.
501c3, you're doing your
Yeah.
media, you're
Yeah.
doing your
Yeah.
stuff for the restaurant. I mean, I I can't even imagine. I think I
Yeah.
juggle a lot of things, and
Yeah.
I'm bowing down to you there. That's
No.
fantastic.
So
But
basically well, maybe this was God's way of telling me to slow down for a minute too. But I'd get up in the morning. I would work my full day at the minute with the ministry. I'd get out of the ministry, come here to the restaurant, work at the restaurant till close, and get up and do it all over again. And then find time during the day to do our meetings and planning and do all of the sponsorships and organizing of all the people and cities for the festival. Um, and
this is
so,
why I'm so honored she's spending a little time with us today, folks.
so
I mean, she's everywhere.
So I'm honored to be here and to be able to share my story. I appreciate it, just because I hope it inspires somebody else.
That's the
That
whole thing. So it's October. The
yeah,
festival's getting ready to roll out.
festival's done. So
The
we
festival's
accomplished it.
done now.
Woo! We're
Okay, okay.
celebrating
My
that. That
bad.
was a
I
success. That
misunderstood
was
that
good.
part. Okay, the festival's done, but now you're working in the restaurant,
Still
and
working.
you have a
Yeah, closely.
customer that comes in. You
Yep.
go to get a drink for the customer, and what happens?
Um. So I go. I was. I was feeling that day. I was feeling a little off. Not sick, but just kind of like I could tell I was getting tired. And so I go to get the drinks for the customer, and I just lost. All of a sudden, I started shaking. I lost feeling in my arm. I fell, like my head's spinning. I have no control of my body. I'm thinking what I want my body to do, and it's doing something I have no
And it's
control
just
over.
not doing it.
And fell to the floor. And lost. I wasn't with it. Like I wasn't 100%.
You lost control, and you're a
I lost
woman who is
control.
used to being in
In
control
control.
and
Yes.
juggling all these balls at all the time. So
Yeah.
what an interesting deal.
This is my husband, Greg.
That's Greg.
Hi.
I'm your long lost cousin from Texas. How are you, Greg?
Good. How are you?
Really good. It's cool. I don't often get to interview other Russos, so this is
Yeah.
pretty awesome for me. I don't get up to Michigan very often, but I know the majority of our family lives up there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I was telling her we're third cousins, second removed or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
My dad could tell it. You know,
we'll figure. I think your dad knows somewhere, because I had a long conversation with him one time, and we
He
kind
knows
of
all the
traced it back
connections.
somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah,
He said you were also more prevalent on Mike Russo's side.
I probably am,
Yeah.
but we're somehow related. I don't know.
We are all related, and we're
Yeah.
related to Mike too. He's our cousin.
Somehow related, and we're all God's children. So that's a wonderful thing. So
Wow, exactly.
okay, so you find out that you actually had grand mal seizures. So
I had a grand
series
mal
of them.
seizure, and I completely, at one point during it, I could not breathe. And I heard my daughter's voice saying, "Mommy, breathe, breathe, breathe," and got me out of it for a moment. And then another one started. So they called the ambulance. They got me to the hospital. I'm not with it. By the time I got there, my brain is so tired from the back-to-back seizures that their goal was to sedate me and let it rest.
Right.
So
In
I,
full transparency, folks, this is our second take for this part of the story. And the first time she told me this story, she burst into tears because it meant so much to her. And I know she's more in control now, but I'm going to have to find a way to get that part of the story put into this, because it was so beautiful, and it really was. It really it moved me when I was hearing that hearing your daughter's voice was almost like the God talking to you through her to pull through.
Well, my daughter means the world to me. She's
And that's so cool, as it should be. And
but
so you're in the hospital, but that's not the end of the bad news. That these seizures really were just tipping the iceberg. What
Yeah.
else did they find, Stephanie?
So when I woke up, they set me down for a series of tests, and I'm still trying to kind of process through the seizure and everything that's going on. And they
And you had
came up,
never had a seizure before.
no,
Okay.
never.
Okay.
So they did a CAT scan, and they found out that I had a hole in my heart that I did not know about, and that I had a stroke. They believe 7+ years ago. And so we don't know the cause of the stroke. I didn't even know I had a stroke at this time. So they came up and they were giving me all this information, at one time. And I had my mom in the room. I had Gabby's dad was in the room with Gabby. It just so happened that night that Gabby and her dad had come to Russo's to eat, so they were here when the seizures happened. And then of course Greg and my mom. And so they gave me all this information, and I couldn't believe it. I just kept thinking, Gabby actually got irritated with me at one point because she's like, Mom, they've told you 5 times. Because I kept asking the same question, like, what do you mean? I just was like in
Well,
complete
it's
shock.
almost increduless. You're like,
I
what
was
do
in
you mean
shock.
this is
Yeah.
happening? How did I have a
Yeah.
stroke too?
A
And
stroke,
you
a hole in my
said
heart,
that,
5 grand mal seizures. Like I have this.
you hole in the heart, all of these things.
It was
And you said that stroke may have happened from some of the abuse that had happened in a prior relationship.
Yeah. So after this, they sent me to a neurologist. So there was 2 things. They were worried about, like, trying to figure out what caused it. And in medicine, sometimes they never know with 100% certainty what happened. They can only say these are the things that could have contributed to something. So one was the hole in my heart. They thought the blood going over, shooting up, could have caused
something
with the seizure, stroke, or even made me stroke, not know it in the previous time that resulted in me having the seizure. Or, there was a traumatic, with
brain
my,
injury, a
yeah,
traumatic
that I
brain
had a
injury
concussion and was
that
sent to the
led to that.
hospital. That
Yes.
was 7+ years ago,
Right.
obviously that could have caused that, or me to stroke or have that spot in my head. So it was just a little, it was, and that was later. So at this point, I don't know that stuff yet. I just know that I somehow had a stroke and we need to figure out why. I somehow had a grand mal seizure. We need to figure out why and how we fix it. And I'm just trying to, as a human, process all this information.
And the incredible thing to me, ladies and gentlemen, as I listen to this story, and I've heard it a couple of times now talking to Stephanie, it's so much all at once. It's so many different things and different pieces all at once. Any one of those things is a life-changing event, is a blink of an eye moment. And here you are having several blinks all at once.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine the despair almost. I know how I was with my problem, and a lot of people I've talked to, they go through that why me stage. God, why did you choose that this happened to me? But folks, the strength that I see in this woman, she's going to tell you right now, her faith was so strong she didn't even go through that.
I have in my past seen God work in such unbelievable ways in my life,
Amen.
people's life, and I've been through so much with him that in this moment, my first question wasn't the why part. I already knew that if I trust in him, that everything was going to be okay. And I didn't question. I just knew this was another part of my journey to getting me to where he created me to be and his life and his purpose. And I did go through things in the past where I would ask that why question, which was really a growth thing for me, was to just, I did not ask that question at all.
And so,
I didn't even
maybe,
think.
maybe some of those things that you went through in the past kind of aided you to handle all of this bad news all at once and realize that it's in God's hands, that it's going to be what it's going to be, and God's going to be there for you to take care of you and your family.
Absolutely. 100% trust in God and strengthen myself because of him and what he's allowed me the opportunity to go through and persevere through. I knew that it was going to be okay. I just had to be okay sitting in the uncomfort of the unknown until I went to see the specialist of
Right.
what that journey would look like health wise.
And talking about that journey, the road to recovery, I'm sure was kind of long and arduous, and you probably had to change some lifestyle things a little bit.
Yeah, so it was. So, here somebody who likes to and wants to be is everywhere,
You're a
getting
busy
things
bee,
done.
girl. Come
Yeah,
on, just admit it.
yeah, I am. And I was told I can't drive for 6 months, which was like, whoa, what do you mean? I've got all these things I've got to do and all these people I need to go meet and these organizations that I need to help. And so I had to take a step back and say, okay, I can't do that right now. So how am I going to continue to accomplish what needs to be accomplished for my family, my daughter, myself, my business? And I was very fortunate that God put people in my life who really loved on me and were there for me during this whole thing. And one was my husband, Greg. So actually, Greg, I knew he loved me when a week after this happened and we still hadn't seen the specialist. I didn't know what that journey was going to look like health wise. He didn't know what that journey was going to look like health wise. We just had faith and we had each other. And he proposed to me a week later and said, we're, we, we've always had each other since the day we've met, had each other's backs. And God, I think, really brought us together as a really strong union for him and his work. And I couldn't believe it that I was so happy. But I was like, the amount of love and trust that he had in God in our future just like
What a
solidified
blessing.
for
How
me,
beautiful is that?
you
I
know.
mean, that's an incredible thing. I mean, it's almost like one of those things you'll see in a Hollywood movie. I mean, it's really an incredible story. What's the road to recovery look like now for you? I mean, are you out of the woods, or is it still something that could happen
Yeah.
again? Or
So the next 6 months was a series of meeting with specialists. Then the specialist told me, some of the reasons that stroke and ultimately a seizure might have occurred, right? And then I met with a heart doctor, a cardiologist, who said that if we close, because they did think that the hole in the heart, they were leaning more towards the hole in the heart caused the grand mal seizure. So I met with a cardiologist, and he said we can do a simple procedure, go in and close this hole for you. There's some recovery time. Obviously there's some things you're going to need to do. You started me on medication for the seizure, started me on a medication for the heart, the blood thinners and things like that. Make sure I didn't get clots.
right.
And so I had my heart surgery in January.
And that was successful, I take it?
Yep. So that was successful. Like I came out of that good. I actually was back to work next. But
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
It's in the Russo name though. I feel like that's
Why does that not surprise me? I don't
but then I had to wait another, 5 or 6 months for them to go back in and make sure that the surgery actually was successful, because they want to make sure you don't clot, that they put like a little device in basically your heart to close it.
Everything, yeah.
So I just had that in July, on the 31st, this past July.
So less than a month ago, really.
Yeah. So that was a success. And I haven't had any grand mal seizures or any seizures of any kind.
Do they think that's something that could happen? I mean, that's kind of a cloudy medical area right now. They don't really know all of those things.
Well, the medicine is working, which is good. And they said that with the surgery, the cardiologist thought, not the neurologist, but the cardiologist thought that if I had this surgery, that there would be like a 99 point whatever percent, like pretty much 100% almost. I mean, of course, there's always an act of God, right? Like a 99 point whatever percent chance that I would never have a seizure again. And took the medicine. I have to keep on the medicine for the rest of my life.
So that's a lifetime medicine.
That's a Keppra, yeah. So, but I mean, for me, from going to in October, like being told all these things, to just trusting God and trusting the process, and getting to where we are today, I feel really,
Do
really
you
grateful.
feel like this even strengthened your faith and strengthened your trust in God?
It definitely everything, yeah, but definitely my trust in God. But it also, God helped me trust in people again,
Okay.
too, through this
I like
process.
that. I like
Like, and not to say, but I mean, I'm so grateful for Greg. Like, specifically, like
So, what
him.
advice would you give to listeners out there that are struggling through whatever it may be? Maybe they have a drug problem, maybe they've had medical problems,
Yeah,
maybe they've had marital problems or other relationship problems, and they feel like their life is crumbling. How do you feel like they can reach out and God will help them?
yeah. Well, first and foremost, ask God for help. Look around who is in your corner that you can trust. God sends people. Be on the lookout for that person that randomly comes into your life and just for you helps you, and is there for you, because that's him, that's his work, that's his creation coming to you, that he sends
Amen.
you the people in your life that you need at the time that you need them, to help you grow.
Right.
Um, Trust in him, ask for help, um, pray, take time to take a step back. Don't wait until you're told you can't drive for 6 months and go through all, like, like, take a step back and realize sometimes God's answer to you is to pause and to reflect and to reevaluate where you need to be in your life to live in
Taking a
his
deep
purpose.
breath. Something that my wife always tells me is that I'm horrible at telling people no. I
Yeah,
I am always doing something. I'm constantly doing something, and I volunteer for this or volunteer for that, and I'm always going.
yeah.
And
I had to say no to 2 groups I was a part of, which was a big deal that was a big deal for me,
well, I understand
to
that.
yeah,
That is
like, to be
I,
like, I
I
can't.
I think you and I
Yeah,
share a lot of similarities as far as our personalities go because I'm always doing something. I have two different podcasts. I do some radio broadcasting. I am a school teacher. I am a coach. I understand being busy. There are things that just constantly happen. I'm also involved with a sports card show promotion group that we do things. So I get it. Plus, I have three grandkids, so
yeah.
they live far
Yeah, you're
away,
busy.
but I have things happening in my life too, so I appreciate that. But yet, it's something that I think all people need to understand that sometimes you have to say no, sometimes you have to step back and take a deep breath. But through it all, God is there, and God
Yeah,
will put someone in your life, put people in your life, put things in your life that make it make sense. We may not understand it while we're going through it. And we
amen.
may even wish the path goes one way and it actually goes another, right?
Yeah,
I don't know why God wants me with one eye right now, but he does. And
yeah,
so I've accepted that, and that's not an issue anymore.
yeah,
And so likewise, for whatever reason, you had to have this head trauma and this grand mal seizure and this heart issue. It
well, I
doesn't
will say
always make sense to us, but to God it did.
it was amazing though to transform to be in the same room with everybody that was in that room, and all working, together in that way. That was something pretty special,
I'll bet
like,
it was. And I I saw the genuine emotion on our first take when you were talking about your daughter, and I want to share with you that was beautiful to me. That was such raw emotion that I hope I can figure a way to get it into this because I really want our audience to see that true insight. So tell me what's next for Stephanie Russo and what's next for the Russo wine and Russo restaurant and what's next on the calendar for all of this.
well, our family is committed to carrying through with our legacy and bringing people together over great food, great wine, and celebrating culture and history. we've this last year and a half, 2 years, we've expanded our offerings. So, when people walk through the front door, we want them to feel like they're home here. We're mixing old world with new world. The next generation is leading the charge into the future and still honoring the past. My father-in-law has done an amazing job of instilling so much in our family and the history here in Grand Rapids,
And
which we're
he's
really
such a
grateful
great
for.
storyteller. He is such
He's
a great
an amazing
story.
storyteller. But we did expand, like you alluded to earlier, our digital footprint. So we now can ship anywhere around the country. We have a
And
lot of
folks, do it.
yeah,
I'm gonna put the website again right down there. You need to do it.
yeah,
Trust me, it is delicious food, and they pack it perfectly. It gets to you. You're gonna
yeah,
love it. You're gonna
yeah,
absolutely love it. Uh,
yeah.
just incredible. And get
We're doing
Stephanie's sauce because it's really good.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of work around leadership development within our organization. So, what's been traditionally all leaders as family, it's been on my heart and soul to look within our organization and find people that I can trust and believe in and promote them to their next chapter in life. And it's a blessing to see them continue to grow and how that's impacted the organization so positively um, across all departments. We also are expanding our outreach and resources with my ministry background. I've taken a hands-on approach to making sure we've promoted 2 people in our kitchen. Um, Actually, one of the stories I got emotional. I was doing the dishes and I heard him say he's one of our hardest working line cooks, and he said, well, my this is before we promoted him. My mom told me I'll never amount to anything because I made that mistake and got in jail, and and I was like, don't. I was like, hey. You are an amazing human being and you do an amazing job for this organization. And I never want you to say what your mom said ever again. It's not true. Like, you have such growth and you are so good and you have so much potential, and God loves you. And
All have that worth, and thank
yeah.
God you were there to say that to him. That's a beautiful story.
And a week later, I talked to Greg, and a week later, he earned it. We promoted him to lead, gave him a raise, and gave him a title, and he was so proud. And it gave me
That's
chills
so
to see
cool.
it. And I said, you call your mom and let her know that her son is a lead here at Russo's Restaurant and Market.
That is so
You know,
awesome. That is so fantastic. Gosh,
so
Stephanie, I got to
the
tell
bless-
you, we've been talking for over 30 minutes. I try to keep these to 30 minutes.
yeah,
I know, isn't it? It's awesome when you're having a great conversation. It is
yeah,
so cool. So this is
yeah.
what I'm going to ask of you. I'm going to wind up the show a little bit. I want you to stay on with me through that until afterwards because I want to catch up on tie a few bows on a few things. All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
If you like hearing stories of overcoming challenges in life, click the like and subscribe button, please. I rely on that. That's how we spread the word through this ministry. I'm not in it for money, I'm in it to spread the ministry. So I want you to click the like and subscribe button. That means a lot to me. Perhaps you have a story of your own to share: an accident, sudden loss, PTSD, alcohol, drug abuse, natural disasters, illnesses, and you would like to share that journey of overcoming. Please contact me again at the email below. I've learned how to point for this. This is good. At the email below for
Definitely click
consideration
on it.
for a future podcast interview. I rely on viewers like you to share their stories with us. Thanks again to tradingcardsmarketplace.com for their continued sponsorship so that we can bring these great stories to all of us, like this one. Tradingcardsmarketplace.com. Discover, connect, and collect. Awaken the collector in you. But I really want to thank everyone out there, especially my family, Stephanie's family, our military, veterans, and first responders who put their lives on the line every day. And please, personally, don't forget our teachers and our medical professionals who make all the world better one person at a time. But most of all, thank God for all the blessings in our world. We just need to make sure that we concentrate on that every single day. So until next time, my friends, carpe diem, seize the day.